back to T-top weather stripping, and I have already run this run channel down here. Now there is a trim piece on the 4-eyes that slides in here, so it's not the same. This is actually a different weather strip piece. See how it's flimsy here, and that's in comparison to this style that's actually got metal in it here. So this is super firm. So this is actually what I'll be using in the Cobra T-top, because it doesn't have that trim piece that goes right here. And I'll show you guys that a little bit later. So yes, this run channel has already been run, so that's taken care of. Now, first things first, we actually need to change this, and I will be doing one single piece instead of two. And this is no different than a regular weather strip, which I've come to learn, with the exception of that right here, they pretty much cut it. So actually squish it. I guess they kind of squished it in this sense. On the other side, they cut it, believe it or not. And this side looks squished. Actually, I take that back. This is cut right here. So you can see that all gets wedged up there, and they run this till about like right here, right where my headliner has stopped. So I've got brand new weather strip right here. I need the other end. Just need to make sure that your weather strip is run accordingly. Okay, so what I learned on the other side is they left a little bit of material on the end so that they could fold it over like that. Now, they didn't do that on this side, probably because they jammed enough butyl or what have you in there, but we'll see. When the caps go on and stuff, I rather leave a little bit of extra material to finish things off and make things look the way that they should. So just go ahead, push all this in, get the rear plastic situated, and then that is going to complete the traditional weather strip that you would have in your door. So see here, I need to get that pushed up on, so make sure everything's stretched out. Might actually loosen this back off, pull this down just a hair, and we'll get that all situated. You can see that the trim front and rear is off, and the body shop had put a couple of the rivets on this guy, and I think just 2 on here, and I've since drilled those off. And again, I've shown this on the Cobra. There's 2 rivets there. They probably missed the metal when this was all getting installed at the so-called factory. I'll put one in there as well, and one back there. So you can see how lazy they were when they installed these T-roofs. So I'm glad I popped the trim off, but more importantly, I popped the trim off so that I could glue the felts on, which makes things much easier. So if you guys have a bunch of binder clips like this, you can glue the felt on with some weather strip adhesive and clip it all on like I did there. And if you guys are wondering what adhesive I used, this guy right here, black super weather strip adhesive by 3M. So you don't need much, because of course you don't want it oozing up past the edge. So we'll squeeze it on. We'll do a couple little relief cuts on the ends. Of course you want to start in the center and take your time, and let's get this done. Distributed along everything. Cure up and we'll rivet this guy back on. Time to get the trim on. I've already got the back side on there. Gonna do the front side, and I've been replacing some of the missing rivets that I'm wondering when the body shop took the trim off, because it actually was not me. You can see I threw a piece of tape down just in case. Never know if your rivet gun's gonna slip on you. This one. Got our holes drilled. As well, trying to get your rivet gun in the channel. So it's definitely best that you do this before you put the weather strip in. So note, I already have the weather strip installed over here, and you can get around it. You just want to be careful. I feel like your rivets have gone in a little sideways. You can just get a big screwdriver, kind of push them in a little bit. So there we go. There's a little bit of run channel in it. So here's the piece of trim I was talking about earlier. So there's actually a channel in this weather stripping right in the front up here, so that this can slide in like so. There you go. This to the body. Guys, you don't need much, because put it this way, the more of this that you use, the more things are going to stick in a more permanent fashion, that you gotta ask yourself, if you ever have to take it apart again, you're probably gonna destroy the seals. And if you're dealing with NOS seals, last thing you want to do anything that could possibly damage those seals. So we got felts glued, riveted on, trim riveted on, weather strip and the run channel riveted on with our plastic mirror beauty cover. The rear channel of the door is on, which means now I can get the trim piece that actually slides and holds this guy down. All right, so fairly exciting moment to be able to put these guys on now. These are the factory metal pieces on the outside with new rubbers on the inside, and I think you got to buy this as one piece, and then you take these off the aftermarket outers, because the aftermarket outers kind of suck, like a lot of things, and that'll allow you to get a nice new seal. And what you're going to notice is this guy slides over or sorry, under this piece, which the mirror is also going to help hold things down. So this guy, I'm lining up the marks properly. And this is going to hide this rivet that's there, like so. Boom. Seat in there, kind of just like that. Well, aside from some lube, there we go. Got our trim outfitted here, mirrors back on, weather strips in place. So now we just got to run the final weather strip piece around the U channel and all that, and man, that'll be, and then get our little caps on, our beauty caps, and that'll be it. T-top seal glued in, we'll let that cure up, then we'll deal with the push pins down here. Just note to self that the holes in the body are going to be different car to car, because they just kind of sent it based on, you know, whoever was installing that day. So keep in mind, you might need to move the location of those push pins, or you could drill new holes into the body, whatever you want to do there. But main thing is, like I said, you want seals to line up, which they do here. You can put your door glass up if you want, make sure that everything is lining the way that it should, but I'm pretty confident we're in good shape here. Leave the glass in to keep pressure on the weather strip and let everything set up accordingly. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of trim on the felt right here. That's fine. A little longer is better than too short. But there we go. All right, so since I've done trim, and I'm giving myself a little bit of a break off the interior, fitting that I needed for the CVF power steering pump finally came in, which is just some weird inverted flare. And now I'm about to finish up the PTFE high pressure line. That's going to go in the steering rack, because once I get this on, that means I can put fluid in the pump, which means I should be able to fire the motor, because I've got all the 12 volt ignition power circuits run. And it'll be actually a good test to see if everything's working the way that it should. So I'm going to go ahead, get this line made up real quick, which PTFE is pretty straightforward. You know, cut through it, little special clip fitting thing. I've done some videos on it in the past. If not, there's hundreds of videos on YouTube on how to do it. Confirm the fluid in there. There is no coolant in here yet. Actually, I haven't put on all the hose clamps. Maybe I'll put some hose clamps on the hoses. I could put some coolant in. I think everything's good to go. So if I do have some coolant, I'll get some that in. If I do start it up, guys, it's open headers, so I'm not gonna let it run too long. Validate that. Oil's already in. Got our zinc additive and everything as per the engine factory's recommendations. All their little toe tags here that they made all their recommendations on what to hook up and what to do and everything else, so I think we should be in good shape. All right guys, so I checked the wiring for the relay. The relay works. The 12 volts from the ignition isn't making it to the relay, and I checked the neutral safety switch. I checked the wiring around the neutral safety switch and all that. There's something clicking up underneath the dash, but I'll probably need a second set of ears. So for now, I've made my own ignition switch right here. So I think we're good. The key is on. Let's turn this puppy over. So it sounds like fuel has made it from the tank all the way up to the carburetor. Just kind of needed to get those bowls filled up. But other than that, man, it idles. It sounds pretty damn healthy. I forgot, gonna need, I think, the tack adapter to get the tack to work properly. Just with that aftermarket coil and setup, since it's not running through the traditional measures anymore, through the Duraspark and all that bullshit. But there you go, Eric. Your car is running. So here's probably a pretty good spot to end this episode. It's been a little bit all over the place. We did a little bit of vintage air, we did wiring, we did some dash stuff, we did stereo stuff, T-top trim and weather strip, and most importantly, got the motor fired up. So hopefully you enjoyed. Catch you here next time on the Infamous Project.